Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I know on this channel we usually just talk about automotive tools, but I used to be really into woodworking, and I still try and do some woodworking projects every once in a while. So I wanted to go over the tools that you guys would need to start doing your own woodworking projects. You don't need much to get started attaching 2x4s to 2x4s or plywood, making stuff out of plywood. So I'm going to go over the stuff that I think you need to start to make some basic projects. You can actually make a lot of projects with these tools I'm going to go over. So without further ado, we'll hop right into the first set of tools. Okay guys, so the first tool we got here is a circular saw. This is a Milwaukee battery powered circular saw, but when I first started woodworking, all I had was a cheap Ryobi saw. If I can find a picture of it, I'll post it, but I think I bought it on Facebook Marketplace for 15 bucks. $10 or $15 I paid for it. All I did was switch out the blade on it. I do recommend whatever circular saw you do buy, make sure you do upgrade the blade on here. A lot of the blades that come with these tools are like the framing blades, and they will give you a super rough cut. I like these Diablo blades. This is an ultra fine finish, but this will allow you to cut 2x4s, cut plywood, and you can get nice straight cuts with these with a little bit of practice and patience. So that's our first tool. So we'll move on to the second tool. Okay guys, the second tool you're gonna wanna get is a drill. You're gonna want a way to attach your pieces of wood together. This is a Milwaukee hammer drill, M18. You do not need to go out and buy yourself a Milwaukee drill. I started out with a DeWalt drill kit. It was like $100 kit, came with 2 batteries, a charger, and the drill, and a carrying case. But I know Harbor Freight offers the Bauer brand, and I've heard good things about it, and you can get a drill with the battery and charger, and I believe it comes with a case as well for about 50-60 bucks. I'll link those down below, but also my neighbor was throwing away a corded drill. You can find those all day long for $10-15 on Facebook Marketplace. So if you're on a budget, go ahead and go the corded drill route. I would recommend a cordless though if you have the money for it. It's just you're going to be able to use it for a lot more things, and you're not going to be having to be around a power source. So yeah, second option or second tool you're going to need is the drill. With the drill, you're going to want some drill bits to drill some holes to fasten your wood together. And you're going to want some driver bits to drive in your screws. Along with those, you're going to want to get yourself an awl. You're always going to want to start a hole, a starter hole before you start drilling your drill bit, so it doesn't wander all over the place. You can get an awl for pretty cheap. Also, I would recommend getting yourself a pocket hole. This is the Craig pocket hole jig. This will allow you to attach 90-degree angles on mostly 2x4s, but this is what I started off with building stuff. I'll post some pictures of stuff I built with the pocket hole jig, but super handy. You have to use these specialized screws that are made for it. This is the screw starter set, so it's got different kinds. It'll tell you there's a good set of instructions that tell you how to set this up and use it. Once you get the hang of it, it's real simple to use. This is a good option for starting out to build stuff. I recommend getting the starter kit if you don't know what kinds of woods you're going to be attaching together, if you're going to be doing a variety of different thicknesses. But they do sell the single kit, so if you do know you just want 1 1/4 inch, or that's all you need, then you can just go ahead and buy this. But if you don't know, I would recommend picking up the starter kit. Along with this, every time I do attach wood together, I use glue. This is the Tide Bond 2. This is my favorite wood glue. I love this stuff. A lot of woodworkers use Tide Bond 2. But this is great. Make sure you pick yourself up some glue. This stuff can be a little bit pricey. I think it's about $10 a bottle. But you can, there's all different kinds of wood glues that'll get you by at just the beginning. But you're gonna want yourself some glue. if you're not using the pocket hole jigs, you're gonna need some screws. I like these screws. I forget what brand they are, but I'll link them down below, and I'll put their name up right now. But they have like the Torx head on the end of it. I love these. You don't have to worry about stripping out the screw head like you do a Phillips. I hate using Phillips screws. So I use these Torx ones instead. They're a little bit more expensive than using your basic Phillips screw, but you're gonna save yourself a lot of headache by using these ones instead. You're gonna want some clamps. You're gonna want a way to attach your stuff together while you're to hold it together while you're about to drill a hole or fasten a hole together. When you're gluing stuff, you're gonna want to be able to put a little bit of pressure on there on the joints when they're drying. These are the Harbor Freight clamps. I have them in a bunch of different sizes. I have a ton of these. You're always gonna need more clamps if you're woodworking. So I think you can get these for, I think I got this one on sale for like $2, but I think normally it's like $4. These are all about between $2 all the way to $15 in all the different sizes. Harbor Freight, these are a great option starting out with. Next, I think you're gonna need like a mallet or a rubber hammer with the rubber ends on it. You don't want the one with the metal ends, it'll dent your wood. But sometimes when you're just trying to get something lined up just perfectly, you're gonna want a hammer to tap it in instead of trying to loosen up your clamp and get it set again. This is a real nice option to be able to straighten stuff out. So that's it for fastening. So we'll move on to the next one. Hey guys, next up we have sanding. This is probably my least favorite. I hate sanding. It's a pain. I have a Milwaukee cordless. I do not recommend getting a cordless sander. This was expensive. It kills batteries like crazy. It is nice and convenient sometimes to not have to lug around the cord. But I'm not saying you need to get a sander right away, but after you have the other stuff that we discussed, and this should be the next tool you get, because using hand sanders is going to get old after a while, after you start doing some bigger projects. So I do recommend getting a cordless sander. You can usually get a pretty decent one for around 50-60 bucks. I'll link one down below, but definitely you should have some sandpaper to start out with. I bought these, I think they're called sanding mouse or sanding mice, and they use your circular saw or your orbital sander sanding pad, and you can just stick it to the bottom of these. These are Velcro as well, so these are pretty cool. I do recommend these. I'll link these down below. For sandpaper grit, 80 and 120 is basically what I use for all my rough woodworking stuff, outdoor furniture, indoor furniture, stuff like that. So those are basically the two grits you need. All right, we'll move on to the next thing. Okay guys, the next is measuring and marking. You're gonna want a 12-inch combination square. I think this is gonna cover you in a lot of situations. You're able to get a 45-degree angle and a 90-degree angle with this. It also has a nice level on it. It has like a scratch awl, so you can mark on there. You're able to slide up and down. So if you wanted to measure something exactly like 3 inches away in the middle of your board, you can do that by adjusting this. I was going to include a speed square because I mostly use a speed square now, but I think this is a way more useful tool than a speed square. But yeah, a 12-inch combination square will cover you. I used to have a Stanley one that my grandpa bought me a long time ago. It was a plastic housing. I do like these Empire ones because it is aluminum instead of plastic, and it's going to hold up a little bit better in case you drop it or something. You're going to want a tape measure. I like these 12-foot tape measures for doing this basic woodworking stuff. You don't need a super big tape measure. I like these Chameleon self-locks because you just pull it out and then you click this to retract it. It's a lot easier than trying to lock it in place. They do get worn out after a while, the mechanism to bring them back in, but you can get these for not that expensive at Lowe's, and they're one of my favorite tape measures. you're going to want a yardstick. If you're going to be cutting plywood, you're going to need to measure a nice long straight line. And so a yardstick is going to be great for that. Also, you can use this when you're cutting your piece of plywood. You can grab your clamp and clamp it where you need it, and then you can run your saw along here and get a real nice straight cut along your plywood. And then of course you're going to need a way to mark. Just a basic pencil will work fine. There's a lot of other options that people use, but honestly, we're starting out on a budget. Go ahead and just get a pencil. I use these Home Depot ones all the time. These Home Depot ones are actually pretty cool. They come with this this little sharpener that you can actually put in the end of a drill, and I thought that was pretty cool. I use these all the time. But that's it for measuring and marking, so we'll move on to the next one. Okay guys, and for our final tools, probably the least boring ones on this list, but probably the most important, are PPE. Whenever you're cutting or drilling, you want to make sure you wear safety glasses. It's very important to protect your eyes. It's no fun to get wood chip up in there. Also, some earplugs. Make sure you protect your ears. Cutting with the saw is going to be very loud. And then I included gloves. I don't usually use gloves when I'm actually doing the cutting and the drilling, because I don't want my glove to get caught on stuff. But when you're at the hardware store and you're having to load your car, your truck with plywood and 2x4s, you don't want to get splinters. So make sure you guys pick up your yourself some gloves. And that is it for PPE. So we'll go ahead and I'll go over all this stuff with you one last time, and we'll wrap up the video, guys. And that is all the tools you need to get started woodworking. I'm sure people are gonna comment and say, oh, you should do this instead of this. I hope you guys do, because maybe you'll help out these people. Maybe you'll think of something I didn't think of. I don't see those as negative comments. I think those as helping a lot of other people and myself. Maybe you'll help me. You'll help me think of something that I didn't think of. But you can get all this stuff for probably under $200, I would say. Probably even cheaper than that if you go very cheap on your drill and your saw. But I hope you guys get started woodworking. I really enjoy woodworking when I do it. I did a lot of it when I first moved to my house here, and it's real fun. I like building stuff. I don't like finishing stuff. I didn't go over any of the finishing with you. Stains and paints and stuff like that. That's all going to be determined by you guys. But I'm going to try and start incorporating more woodworking stuff. I might do a second part of this video, what I think you should get after you have this stuff. And if you guys want to see that video, make sure you leave it down. If you don't, then I'm probably not going to do it. But we'll go over like the table saw, the miter saw, all the other tools I have here. But yeah, please like and subscribe. Check out the Instagram page. I post a lot of stuff on there. And I'll see you guys again for another video soon.